The Washington Mystics finally lose, and the Indiana Fever are an offensive juggernaut. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Max Sports Entertainment. My name is Deepak Shankar, and here we're here to recap the two of the WNBA games that took place on Tuesday, August 11th. So, firstly, we'll start off. We'll do the Mystics and Aces because there were two really good games, but the Fever and Liberty was a better game. So we'll do a little bit with the Aces and the Mystics, and then we'll get into the Liberty versus the Fever a little bit more in depth. And if you'd like more of this content, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, turn on post notifications, comment, all that good stuff. Really helps out the channel, and thank you in advance. And so, firstly, the Aces beat the Mystics 86-76. The Mystics 7-game win streak is snapped. So, like I said earlier in the video, they're human. They fall to 19-13. And it was a great streak while it lasted. And just with that game, I mean, the Aces, obviously, we all know one of the best teams in the WNBA, and obviously led by Asia Wilson and her MVP self, and could also win the Defensive Player of the Year this year. And then also, particularly, you have the dynamic duo between Asia and Jackie Young, that they really just have great chemistry. They got that sort of two-man game going, give and go, and they really have great chemistry, work well off each other, and just generate so many easy shots on the offensive end. And then you also have Chelsea Gray as a great third option too, and she's just insanely clutch, has been her whole career. Unbelievable passing ability too. With those behind the back passes that are just always on point every single time. It's just unbelievable how she's able to do that. And obviously she's known as the point guard, rightfully so. And yeah, with her clutchness, there were obviously those two big shots when they had the 20-point comeback versus the Fever, that helped them basically steal the game that they honestly had no business winning. And just in general, I mean, she's done it throughout her whole career, especially in the 2022 playoff run that got the Aces the championship that year. And so, I mean, obviously we know about Asia, we know about Jackie Young, but I think Chelsea Gray is obviously an integral part of that whole operation, and they wouldn't have nearly the success they do currently, with all these championships. I believe 3 in the past 4 or 5 years. Without the services of Chelsea Gray. And so, yeah, that was that game. And then now we move on to sort of the main event of last night, which was the Liberty and the Fever. Took place in Indiana. All sorts of star power everywhere. Big three, legit big three on both teams. But the Indiana Fever come out on top, and they win 106-92 on their home floor. And this was pretty much a game where, as they say in the NBA, it's a make or miss league. I think it was Doc Rivers who said that. But it also applies in the WNBA and really just basketball at all levels. I mean, it's a make or miss league. If you make shots more often than not, way more often than not, you're going to win. If you miss shots, you're way more often than not going to lose. And that was the story of this game where the Liberty only shot 31% from three, 46% from the field, which is okay. But then you look at the Fever, and they shoot 64% from three, which is just an outrageous mark, and then 54% from the field. And so, in addition, yeah, the big three for the Fever, Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, they thoroughly outplayed Jonquel Jones, Breanna Stewart, and Sabrina Ionescu. The Liberty's big three, and they outscored them by about 17 points. And in the plus-minus category, what stood out was that Jonquel Jones was a minus 17, and then conversely, Kelsey Mitchell, probably the Fever's best player, was a plus 15. And so those types of things make all the difference. And yeah, I mean, so for the Liberty, Breanna Stewart, 19 points, but only on 8 of 21 shooting. So she wasn't efficient. Only 1 of 5 from three as well. 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Jonquel Jones, decent game for her, but not great. So 14, 10, and 2. 1 turnover, 1 steal, and then 3 blocks. And then Sabrina Ionescu, 19, 4, and 5. But she did have the 5 turnovers, even with the 2 steals. So that's obviously not great. So overall, a little bit underwhelming for the New York Liberty with their 3 All-Stars. But with the Fever, with their 3 All-Star level players, they showed out. Caitlin Clark, 22, 4, and 10. Did have the 4 turnovers, so that's obviously not great, but they were able to win this one despite that. Kelsey Mitchell continues to do her thing, just 20-point game after 20-point game, 25, 30, 35, 40, you name it. She is an absolute bucket, a scoring machine. 28, 3 and 3, 2 turnovers and 2 steals. And then Aaliyah Boston also 19, 7 and 4. And then really chipping in. Kelsey Mitchell, we know about what she can do scoring. She does it every night, but she was really good, especially in this game on the defensive end, which also played a big factor in this game. And then Aaliyah Boston as well, especially trusting that 3-point shot where sometimes she can kind of pass up open looks that she shouldn't pass up, that she gets from Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, and drive and causes bad shots at the rim, or turnovers, whatever it may be. But I mean, in this game, she shot 3 of 5 from 3, and that'll obviously work. And then, Kelsey Mitchell 4 threes, Caitlin Clark 4 threes. So in basketball, 3 beats 2. So, there was that. And then let's see here with some of the team stats. So, I mean, the Liberty were able to hang around primarily because they had the rebounding edge, 39-27, and they had 7 more shot attempts, but they only made they made 2 fewer despite having 7 more shot attempts. And field goal percentage, Fever were +8 in that category, and then 3-point percentage, 31% for the Liberty, 64% for the Fever. So huge disparity there. Free throws about the same. With the Fever, I mean, they were able to overcome. That's really been their problem, primarily consistency on the defensive end, where they showed it tonight, but they just haven't done it consistently enough. And then rebounding, they've been able to overcome it in some games, but that'll come back to bite them if they're not able to fix that. And those are really, and then the turnovers can occasionally be a problem as well. Especially with Caitlin Clark. But I think this was a good game where they sort of passed this test against a really good team with flying colors, and points conceded off turnovers. Liberty conceded 9 more fast break points. That also was another reason that the Liberty were able to stay in the game. Actually, they were +10 in that category, and then the Fever led pretty much the whole way. But in terms of, it was points in the paint where the Liberty had an advantage. But in fast break points, it doesn't really show it, but there were a lot of times where the Fever, I mean, they like to push the pace, push the tempo of the game, speed it up. And so whether it was missed shots or even made shots, they were just able to inbound the ball really fast and attack the rim and get great looks and get buckets before the Liberty defense was even able to set. So that was obviously a big factor in the game as well. And so obviously, you can't have that in terms of it's so deflating if you score and then the inbounding team, after they scores right after. It just keeps you on your heels, and with all sorts of pressure throughout the whole game. And then even on missed shots too, not being able to get back, and the Fever pretty much just using their speed versus the Liberty's lack of speed, and they were able to really exploit that in this game especially. And the Fever, I mean, another game where they score over 100 points. I mean, it's pretty much it's insane at this point. So we know what they can do on the offensive end. I mean, that's why I don't think anyone, even the Lynx or the Aces, wants to play the Fever in the playoffs because of that explosive, high-powered offensive capability, despite their flaws in other aspects of the game. But they can just do so much damage from the 3-point line, especially that it's just a problem for any team to deal with. And, in basketball, generally, great offense beats great defense, or it can at least, in maybe 1 or 2 games, especially in a playoff series where it may not work throughout the whole playoff run or a whole series, but it can really, test the sort of mettle of those more balanced teams overall. And so, the Fever, they did overcome the turnovers, like I said today, but that they definitely got to fix that going forward, because it's like Shannon Sharp would always say, don't accept in a win what you wouldn't in a loss. And so it's great, the result, getting the win and everything, but you got to build those winning habits so that way those bad habits that come, including in wins too, do not carry over into the future. And so Indiana right now they lead the season series 2-1. They play one more time, the Fever and the Liberty, on Saturday, August 22nd in New York. So that should be a good one to sort of wrap it up. Wouldn't be surprised also if these two teams played in the playoffs. And yeah, I mean, yeah, overall, these are two really good offensive teams. Where in terms of offensive rating, let's see here. Yeah, Indiana is number one. And then the Liberty are right behind at number four. Defensive rating, both teams not quite as good, but both still in the top 10. But even then, the Fever are actually a better defensive team than the Liberty. Fever 7th, Liberty 10th. So I think part of it with the Liberty is that they just got to get a little bit healthier with a couple of key role players that they're missing. And then if they can gel together, they can maybe rise up in terms of seeding to end the regular season and give themselves a better opportunity to have a deep playoff run. But yeah, the Liberty, I think it's just they just need better consistency and to be able to perform better against better teams like the Fever and like the Aces. I know they beat them recently, but I mean, beating the Aces when they actually had their three best players playing. So I think they overall got to be better against better competition, and that I think if you're looking at it as we speak today, that the Fever are probably tier 2 contender, bordering on tier 1, and then the Liberty are probably a tier 3 contender, maybe bordering on tier 2. So I think the Fever are definitely separated from them, and the Fever will probably go farther, come October, but we'll obviously see how it plays out. And so yeah, that's all I had. And yeah, I mean, there's a couple more good, I think, yeah, WNBA games coming up. There wasn't, I think, today was kind of lopsided. I mean, some good games, but a lot of the not so good teams were playing today. But then tomorrow, you got the the Mystics and the Aces, which should be a good one, a rematch from the game we actually just talked about today. So that should be a good one, and we'll see if the Mystics can start up another win streak again, or if the Aces can continue their dominance and maybe look to approach that number 2 spot in the standings. And then obviously, as we talked about in the previous video, there's still that log jam with seeds 2 through 8, where right now only 4 games are separating the Valkyries at 2 from the Liberty at 8. So anything can happen. Still a long way to go in this regular season, and can't wait for it all to play out. So yeah, appreciate you guys for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, turn on post notifications, all that good stuff. And yeah, catch you guys in the next one.